In Uganda, they have three staples. They have rice, then something called posho, which is corn flour, corn ground up into a flour, and then you boil water and you slowly add it, kind of like a cream of wheat, but until it solidifies into something that looks like mashed potatoes but tastes nothing like it. It's just, a thick white blob of bland and tasteless stuff that it's very filling, and it's really cheap to make, so that's one of their staples. But they'll add sauces to it to make it flavorful. And then the third main staple is Motoki, which is giant green bananas that they boil and mash and make them kind of into like a paste. Not really a paste, it's thicker than that, so it's not like a spread for bread, but it's just mashed potatoes but made out of bananas, I guess you could say. That's the best way to describe it. That one, depending on who prepared it, was good or bad. So I probably ate rice and beans a quarter of my daily for a quarter of my mission, just because you could go and buy a plate of rice and beans for 75 cents to $1, depending on how much prices had inflated that day or that week or that year. So and then if you wanted a nicer meal, you'd get like some chips and beef or chips and chicken, French fries, so chips and beef, or rice and beef, or rice and chicken, and that would be like $2 a plate, and could be really good or could be really bad depending on what kind of meat you got, stuff like that. For breakfast, I would usually make it like I'd buy eggs and just fry them into like an omelet and then cook them and put them on toast. Or you could buy a box of oatmeal for a couple bucks and use that. I'd buy bread and make toast. For dinner, we usually cooked at home. If we ate dinner, we didn't eat dinner until like 9 o'clock at night when we got back, so we didn't have dinner appointments almost ever. So we just eat lunch at 2 and then just wait until we got home at 9 o'clock, and then in between reporting and closing the day, we'd make a quick meal, usually beef or something nice. We'd go and buy it from the butcher, so you could go to the butcher and say, hey, I want that cut of meat, and then he'd just cut it right off the cow and then cut it into pieces for you and then throw it in a bag. And we weren't supposed to do that. I don't think. Our health advisor was very wary on the things that we ate, but we did it anyways. So they had something called chapatis and Rolex. Chapati is kind of like a tortilla. They mix flour and salt and some oil, and then they fry it in just on a burner or something like that, on like metal plate that's over coals. And then we would use that as a tortilla. So if we'd make beef stew or something, or if we'd make hamburger meat, we'd eat it with that, just kind of like a burrito or something. And then they had something called Rolex, where they'd fry eggs into an omelet, and then they'd put it on top of the chapati, and then they rolled up like a breakfast burrito, and they'd put eggs and cabbage, onions, tomatoes, green peppers, stuff like that. Those were good. Those were also not allowed because the people who prepared them were very unsanitary, but it was probably the most popular meal for missionaries. Just if you want a quick lunch or a quick dinner, you could get 2 of them, or two to 4 of them for $1, depending on what size and who was charging you and if they wanted to gouge you or not. Other interesting foods, just like grasshopper, there's cow intestines, stuff like that. I don't know what else. There's a lot more food than that in Uganda, but that's the gist of it. There's also something they ate a lot of fish, and they'll just dry it out in the sun, and then they'll feed it to you, or they'll smoke it or fry it. I don't like fish very much. It makes me sick to my stomach, so I didn't like the fish, and I tried to avoid it, but if they gave it to me, I'd usually eat it. Oh yeah, the fruit there is awesome. In Uganda, they have the best pineapple I've ever tasted. I don't like pineapple here anymore. I'm spoiled. Last week I had the first pineapple that I've said, I actually enjoyed this pineapple. And I shouldn't be like that because I know it's going to be hard to get back to Uganda, but it's just really high quality, really tasty pineapple there. Really good bananas. They have the little miniature bananas that are like this size. They're really good. And then some other bigger bananas. Have really, really good mango in Uganda as well. And when members would give mango, oh, it was the best.